What's going on, everyone? My name is Under the Radar and welcome back to the Draft League Viabilities. In this video we're going to be talking about Celesteela. Whew. One of the most broken Pokemon in the format, in my humble opinion. I personally think that this Pokemon is one of the best in the format because it can do literally anything, and it can do it really well, along with being immune to certain things that make it a lot better. What I mean by that, it's immune to toxic spikes, meaning that it can be defensive and offensive better than Mew, in my opinion. It has stronger stabs than Mew and heavy slam compared to Psychic. It can get beast boost, which means that no matter how much Mew sets up, it will not get a setup at the end of every turn every time it gets a kill. It also has really good support moves in Leech Seed, which is pretty much all it needs in order to just be stupid fat. Its stats allow it to get a boost in any one of its offensive stats. I think it can even get a speed boost. Yeah, it can even get a speed boost. All you have to do is this. Bam. You can even get a freaking speed boost. That's so dumb. Like, I mean, I guess you could then do like this, and it gets a speed boost. It's super good. I think that this Pokemon has one of the best matchups every single game, depending on how you build around it. What I mean by that is this Pokemon, it has some really key weaknesses, one of them being electric, the other one being fire. It pretty much doesn't give a shit about anything else. So because of that, I think that an immunity stacking team with this is almost the best thing that you can do. So first thing that I always suggest with this Pokemon is Zeraora. Reason why I suggest Zeraora over any other Volt Absorb or electric Pokemon that can absorb the hits. This Pokemon is the fastest electric type outside of Voltorb, so it's the fastest electric immunity electric type. Ooh, my throat is killing me. I think I'm starting to get sick. Anyway, so with this Pokemon being able to absorb hits, Volt Switch out, knock off items, and break down bulky steals with close combat and Fire Punch, along with having bulk up for setup, it pretty much breaks down the best checks to Celesteela in bulky steals and electrics. With this thing also being faster than almost everything in the entire game outside of things like Mega Arrow and Mega Zam, it's able to force a lot of really obvious Choice Scarf users, specifically ground types, meaning that if they're locked into EQ, it gives Celesteela free setup with Autotomize and with access to Giga Drain plus Heavy Slam plus Flash Cannon plus whatever you wanted to. It can take advantage of the Choice Scarf ground type moves pretty easily. So very potent combination. Another thing that I always suggest is I suggest a Flash Fire Pokemon. Which one doesn't really matter, in my opinion. There are some that are obviously better than others. For example, Heatran is the best one. However, it's 2 tier 1s typically, not the easiest thing to pull off. One that I always suggest is Arcanine because it gives you Intimidate plus Flash Fire. So for certain games where you're facing a really specially offensive fire type Pokemon, like if you're facing a Mega Charizard Y, you can run Flash Cannon, you can run Flash Fire, Spadef, take on Megazard Y, have Zeraora to outspeed it, and then you can have Celesteela as your setup win con. This doesn't have pivoting like a lot of other fire types that I would prefer, like Chandelure or something like Chandelure. What am I talking about? Like Darmanitan. But it does have the Flash Fire ability. Chandelure is what I was going to say is another really good combination because it does give you a fighting immunity and a normal immunity, which is really nice. But Arcanine, I think, pairs up really well with this. And because of this, you have a Steel Flying. This gives you an immunity to Poison, Ground, Electric, Fire. And because I said immunity stacking works out really, really well, there's a couple of things that you can do. You can go for a water immunity here to help Scald switch ins, because neither one of these Pokemon really like Scald. Celesteela doesn't really appreciate it either, so I always suggest Vaporeon whenever I suggest a really good water switch in. Because of Water Absorb, you now have a water immunity and a Wish Passer to go into your really big threats. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky, because with immunity stacking, you want to make sure that your immunities are also offering other things to the team. Right now, this team is extremely bulky with Celesteela, Arcanine, Vaporeon, and I always suggest there's a certain ghost type that I suggest with immunity stacking that does make this a lot more offensive. However, another really good Pokemon that's a little bit high tier that I think fits really well with this like type of offensive core is Hydreigon. Hydreigon gives you a couple different things. It gives you another Earthquake immunity for these two Pokemon. It gives you a Psychic immunity, and it gives you really good pivoting along with a defogger that you need. As of right now, you have no Stealth Rocker, meaning that Stealth Rocks are very free versus you. You have a Heal Beller, you have 2 Levitate users, so Toxic Spikes aren't the best, but they're not the worst. So having a defogger that's levitating is also really, really nice. Now, again, this does make you pretty low on points, but I think it's like, depending on how you're drafting, this could work out a lot. However, the final Pokemon that I always suggest would be Cofagrigus. If you didn't want Hydreigon, you could go Alolan Muck to have your Dark type as well as a grounded Poison type. Cofagrigus I suggest because it gives you a fighting immunity, and with this type of immunity stacking team, it means that Choice Scarf users, speedy mons that would lock themselves into any form of move, you can pretty much beat down and set up on with Celesteela specifically. There are other Pokemon that you can draft that are setup mons that can do certain things, like right now you don't have a ground type, so you could do trying to think off the top of my head of a ground type that could set up that's not super high tier. Either way, for immunity stacking for Celesteela, these are 6 Pokemon that I would definitely draft. You have 2 tier 3s, a tier 2, a tier 1, a tier 2, potentially a tier 3, sometimes even a tier 4. Immunity stacking is a super fun strategy. I've done it before, where I've also drafted like a Diggersby with it, which I think also fits pretty well on this team. For pivoting, electric immunity, ghost immunity, as well as spikes. So I love this type of draft. I think that immunity stacking with a really good setup super is kind of what you need to make it the most potent possible. So this is how I would personally build around Celesteela. In the comments down below, let me know how you would personally build around Celesteela. I think that this Pokemon is really easy to build around, but I think whenever you're building around it with immunity stack, it becomes even easier. So again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Leave some suggestions down in the comments as well for Pokemon that you guys would like to see in future videos. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.